people have the assumption that abuse and things of this nature don't happen. And I think that it's a huge misnomer because I grew up here.
I think that if I hadn't had the Crisis Center help me, I probably wouldn't be here today. I'd probably be dead.
Sometimes I need the support and help of other people, and Lakes Crisis Center is good on doing that.
I think because of my life growing up with my dad abusing my mom, I felt that that was a normal relationship. When I think of the way that I hid my life from everybody was I made excuses for every bruise. I kept picking the wrong person. Every time I picked a new boyfriend, I picked a new bruise, a new beating.
The breaking point was I was beat so bad. I had a black eye for 3 months. I was so ashamed that I didn't want my son to see me. I didn't want anybody to see me. And that's when I asked for help and I came into the Crisis Center.
The people here were great. When I walked in the door, I already knew that I already had somebody that was going to listen to me.
What brought me to the Crisis Center years ago, I found myself in an abusive relationship. You know, I mean, it was crazy. Controlling, like we couldn't do anything without his approval. You know, controlling with the money, what I bought at the grocery store, how much time I spent with my family, what the kids did when I washed clothes, whether we could flush the toilet or not. We all just had to agree with everything he said, and if we didn't agree or anybody would cross him, he would just freak out and yell at the kids, and we would have devotions, and he would make them sit for hours and hours and hours and hours, sitting there on the floor with their legs crossed, and if they would just wilt or fold, then he would yell at them and say, "You don't love God. You don't love God the way I love God. I could sit like this for days." And he would make everybody feel like they were just this horrible, horrible person. I don't know what I would have done without the Crisis Center. I was very involved in my church and they tried to help me, but they didn't have the resources or the knowledge that the people at the Crisis Center had.
I had been dating my boyfriend for on and off for 2 years, and he'd been abusive prior to that, and I kind of blamed myself and thought it was my fault. And he proceeded to chase me around the house, take his necktie off, wrap it around my neck and hold me up off the floor in the kitchen. Started stabbing the wall with knives, ripped my earrings out, ripped my engagement ring off, my other rings off. Put me in a headlock with his legs so I couldn't breathe. Started shoving me into the wall, pushing me, trying to kiss me. If there wasn't the Crisis Center, I wouldn't have known what to do or how I should have approached anything. They took care of the things that I didn't know how to do, and they helped me through everything.
Specifically, it's my daughter and a boyfriend. It's escalated in my daughter's experience. The verbal abuse tend to elevate to physical abuse. There's a sense of hopelessness anyways, but I mean, there's nobody to turn to, and you know, what can you legally do when at the point in time of when a crisis is happening in your very own home? Sometimes I need the support and help of other people, and Lakes Crisis Center is good on doing that.
What happened a few years ago, my dad molested me. He was very manipulative, and from an outside person it looks like he wouldn't do that kind of stuff. But he had molested me, and I had found out with my sister that he had raped her for 4 years. He molested her first and worked it up into rape, and he would put her face in a pillow, my sister had told me. And when we went on family trips and would go to hotels and such, he would get upset because my sister would sleep in the bathtub, not feeling safe to sleep elsewhere. Through Lakes Crisis and Resource Center, we had really been helped. They made moves as quick as they could, and our family had been broken down but brought right back up again.
So I had no definition of what love was, you know. Sometimes with the sexual abuse, you don't have a clear-cut idea of what love is. And then with the physical abuse, you know, when they tell you, I love you, you made me mad, you know, I wouldn't have done this to you, you know, if I didn't care for you. So, you know, we had no idea what good relationships were about. First time I got beat up really bad, you know, this guy said he loved me and cared about me so much. That's why he was so jealous, you know, and I was like, oh, this guy really cares about me, you know, because he wouldn't have beat me that bad. One time a guy was sitting on my chest, beating my face in, and my blood was splattering everywhere, and my son was standing there screaming his head, and the blood was splattering on him. And I was telling that guy to stop. And I was looking at my son freaking out, and I was thinking, if I can't get out of here because of myself, I should get out because of my son. Because what am I raising my kids? I'm raising my girl to take abuse, and I'm raising my boys to be abusers and disrespect women. I don't know what I would have done or where I would have gone if they hadn't had Lakes Crisis here when that stuff happened. I would have stayed. I would have stayed in that bad relationship because I wouldn't have thought there was anywhere to go.
You know, when you call Lakes Crisis Center, it gives you that freedom and they give you the resources to make sound decisions.
And my friends keep telling me too, look at how different your life is. Look at how much you've changed. Look at how good everything is. And I can always go back and attribute it to the help that I got here at the Crisis Center. It was the beginning of a great thing.
And just because they have their statistics and their demographics in this area about how much abuse is going on, you know, with women or with men or with children, that's their statistics of what's reported. But I think if you had a facility here, I think the ones that keep their mouth shut, that take the abuse, maybe they would come. They'd come out.
And I've utilized everything that the Crisis Center has offered me. And because of that, I know that I'm going to be okay.